Hi there, in this video we're going to be talking about some fiddle ornaments and some ornaments that you can add to violin music. The first one that we're going to talk about is called the slide. And what that means is you're taking your finger from a lower position and you're sliding it into a higher position. So the first thing that we're going to do is put our finger lower than we need. So if we're sliding into our first finger, we're going to start at the nut and we're stop where our first finger tape is, or where our first finger would normally go. And you would generally want to do that pretty quickly. You don't want to go too high, because I see a lot of people do this. And we're not going all the way up there. We're trying to stop exactly where that first finger would stop. And songs like The Butterfly use a lot of slides. So there's a lot of one slides. You can slide with any finger. It just depends on what you're trying to ornament and what you're trying to emphasize. The next thing that we would do is called a trill. And a trill is moving a finger on and off the fingerboard really, really quickly. So a trill could be a open 1, it could be a 1-2, a 2-3, or a 3-4. And it could be on any string in any position. The goal is to make it nice and even. I will show you a trill in slow motion with 1-2 on A. So this will be a 1-2, and the 2 is not a low 2, it's just a regular 2. It'll be 1-2, 1-2. And then you want to speed that up as fast as you can go. So that's the goal, and it could be any finger. 3-4 is the hardest trill to do. It requires a very flat fourth finger, and you have to keep it nice and close. So the goal is to throw that finger on and off as quickly as you can do that. So keep it nice and close. And that's going to take a really relaxed hand to be able to accomplish. So the next one is a purely fiddle ornament. It's called a mordent. And what that is as you're playing a note, you're just going to hit once. It's like a trill, but instead of hitting it lots of times, you're just hitting the note once. So it could be an open 1, or it could be a 1-2-1, or 1 flat 2-1, or 2-3, or 3-4. Generally, you're not going to have a 3-4 mordent. A lot of fiddle music doesn't use fourth fingers. So as you're playing something, I'm doing a hit here or a mordent here. Just one time. And that's just to kind of emphasize something or give it a little bit more flair and flavor. So the next type of ornament is a roll, and that is where you kind of do a mordent at the beginning, so a 1-2-1 or a 1-3-1, but you go to the open string underneath and then back to the 1. So the most basic mordent is a 1-3-1 open 1. And that's, you do that really quickly. You can do mordents that are 1-2-1 open, so you're going above, then you're going below, and you're just coming back to your starting position in between every. Acts as another thing that you can add to something to really emphasize it and give it flair. Depending on what key you're in and what notes are allowed based on the song that you're in, you can really apply the mordent to whatever you need it to be. You can have 2-3-1-2. Or 3-4-2-3. Generally, you will not see those 4s being used because 4s are generally avoided in fiddle music unless you are ornamenting. So to give you an example, Natalie McMaster's If Ever You Were Mine, you have a mordent here, and that's a 1-2-1 open 1. So we're going above, below, and returning every time to the note that we were anchored on, or the note that was actually written in the music. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is a bowed grace note. And a bowed grace note is where you change your bow very quickly to create that grace note. So you're staying on one note. What you're doing is you're staying on one note and you do a little bit of a shiver or a shudder with your wrist to create an extra note. Or you could do two. So you end up in a different direction you were going before. Or you could do just one. It just depends on how much you want to add. The final thing that we're going to talk about is the treble, if you're Irish, or the burl, if you're Scottish. They are the same thing. And that is kind of like a bowed grace note. But it's, if you stop suddenly and tense the lower arm, you're going to get a little bit of a shiver in your bow. And that, again, is another type of ornament. It's seen less often in a lot of the pieces that I've done, but again, it can be used for effect in certain pieces. So try out all of those different types of ornaments for violin. Let me know if you have any trouble or you'd like more detailed descriptions on any of them. I'd be happy to do that, or even make a dedicated video to each one. Let me know what's useful to you. I will have new videos coming out every day on violin and theory and piano, so stay tuned and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.